It was a typical morning in a small, dusty town on the outskirts of the city. The air was dry, and the sun had already begun its scorching climb across the sky. In this town, life moved slowly. The streets were quiet, the buildings old, and the workers went about their daily routines with little hope for change. Among these workers was a laborer named Daniel. He was a man in his early 40s, a hard worker who had spent his entire life doing manual labor to make ends meet. His hands were calloused from years of working with rough tools, and his back often ached from long hours spent lifting heavy loads. Yet, despite the physical toll, Daniel never complained. He was proud of the work he did, though it didn't pay much. Each day he woke up early, put on his faded clothes, and headed out to work for a meager wage. The money was just enough to feed himself and his family, but nothing more. His wife Maria worked at a nearby diner, and together they scraped by, living in a small house that had seen better days. Daniel often wondered if life would always be like this, struggling just to survive with no way to break free from the cycle of poverty. One day, as Daniel was finishing a long day of work, something unexpected happened. A black car pulled up to the construction site where he was working. The car was sleek and expensive, a stark contrast to the old, worn-down tools Daniel and his colleagues used. The driver stepped out and opened the door, and to everyone's surprise, none other than Elon Musk, the billionaire tech mogul, stepped out. Elon had been in the area for a business trip, but he had heard about the local construction site and the workers who were laboring in harsh conditions. Intrigued, he decided to visit and see for himself. The workers were stunned to see him. Daniel, like everyone else, couldn't believe his eyes. What was someone like Elon Musk doing here in a place like this? Elon walked over to where Daniel was working. The laborer stood up, wiping the sweat from his brow, unsure of how to react. Was this some kind of publicity stunt, or was Elon Musk really interested in the struggles of the working class? "Hello," Elon said with a warm smile. "I've heard a lot about the hard work you all do here. I just wanted to thank you for your efforts." Daniel was taken aback. You're welcome, sir," he said, his voice uncertain. Elon continued, "I've been thinking a lot about how to make life better for hard-working people like you. I know this job isn't easy, and I want to help." Daniel, still unsure of what was happening, nodded slowly. "I appreciate it, but we're used to it. This is how things are." Elon smiled again, his eyes shining with a quiet determination. "Maybe it doesn't have to be. I believe there's a better way." He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a business card. "Here," he said, handing it to Daniel. "This is my personal contact information. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out." Daniel took the card, still unsure what to think. Elon Musk was offering his support, but what could someone like him really do for a man like Daniel? He was just a laborer, after all, someone who had always been overlooked by the world's wealthy and powerful. "I'll be in touch," Elon said before turning to leave. Daniel stood there for a long time after Elon's car drove away, staring at the business card in his hand. He felt a mix of confusion and disbelief. Was this some kind of joke? Could Elon Musk really want to help someone like him? The whole thing seemed too surreal to be real. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. His mind raced with thoughts of what Elon Musk had said. Could this be the opportunity he had been waiting for his entire life? But there was still a part of him that didn't believe it. People like him didn't get second chances. People like him didn't get help from billionaires. And yet, there was a nagging hope in his heart that maybe, just maybe, this was different. The next morning, as Daniel was getting ready for work, his phone rang. He didn't recognize the number, but something told him it might be important. He answered, his heart beating faster than usual. "Hello?" he said. "Hello, Daniel," a voice on the other end said. "This is Elon Musk." Daniel's heart skipped a beat. "Mr. Musk?" he stammered. "Is this really you?" "Yes, it's me," Elon replied. "I wanted to follow up on our conversation yesterday. I've been thinking about your situation, and I'd like to offer you something that could change your life." Daniel's mind was racing. "What do you mean?" "I want to help you get a better job. I want to give you the skills you need to move beyond the labor you're doing now. I've arranged for you to attend one of the best training programs available. It's a full scholarship, and I'll cover everything. Tuition, living expenses, everything." Daniel was speechless. A full scholarship? For a training program? It was too much to take in. "But why me?" Daniel asked, still trying to process it all. "I'm just a laborer. Why would someone like you help someone like me?" Elon chuckled softly. "Because everyone deserves a chance, and I believe you have the potential to do more than you think. You've shown dedication and hard work, and that's what matters." The next few weeks passed in a blur for Daniel. With Elon Musk's support, he enrolled in a prestigious program that would teach him the skills needed for a career in technology. He was given all the resources he needed: a laptop, books, and even a mentor who guided him through the course. Daniel worked harder than ever, determined to make the most of this rare opportunity. But the real twist came a few months later. As Daniel was nearing the end of his program, he was invited to attend a conference where Elon Musk would be speaking. It was an exclusive event, and Daniel couldn't believe his luck when he was personally invited. At the conference, Daniel sat in the audience, listening intently as Elon Musk spoke about innovation, technology, and the future of humanity. After the speech, Daniel was invited backstage to meet Elon in person. He felt nervous but excited. He had come a long way from his days as a laborer, and this moment felt like the culmination of everything he had worked for. Elon greeted him with a smile. "Daniel, it's great to see you. How's everything going with your training?" "It's been incredible, Mr. Musk. I've learned so much," Daniel replied. "I can't thank you enough for this opportunity." Elon nodded. "You've earned it, Daniel. You've worked hard, and now you're ready for the next step." And then the real twist was revealed. "I want to offer you a position with one of my companies," Elon said. "You've shown such promise, and I believe you can make a real impact. You're going to be part of a team that's going to change the world." Daniel couldn't believe what he was hearing. A position with one of Elon Musk's companies. The idea seemed impossible, but there it was, right in front of him. The laborer who had once been overlooked and ignored was now being given a chance to work alongside some of the brightest minds in the world. With Elon's help, Daniel's life had been completely transformed. He went from struggling to survive as a laborer to being given the chance of a lifetime. The twist that shocked him, and everyone else, was that his story wasn't just one of a lucky break. It was a story of hard work, determination, and the power of someone believing in you when you least expect it. Daniel's story became an inspiration to others in the community. People who had once thought their dreams were out of reach now saw that anything was possible with the right support and mindset. Elon Musk had not only changed Daniel's life, but he had also shown the world that sometimes all it takes is one person to believe in you for everything to change. And as Daniel stepped into his new role with Elon's company, he knew that he had been given more than just a job. He had been given a chance to change the world, just as Elon had done for him. Daniel's new life was unfolding like a dream he never imagined could come true. In just a few months he went from the hard physical labor of construction to working alongside engineers, innovators, and scientists. The transition was challenging, but with each passing day, Daniel felt more confident in his ability to contribute meaningfully to the team. He was assigned to a project focused on renewable energy, something Elon Musk had been passionate about for years. Daniel had always been interested in how things worked, and now he found himself working on a groundbreaking project that could change the way the world consumed energy. Every meeting was a learning experience, and Daniel soaked in the knowledge like a sponge. His colleagues, initially skeptical about his background, soon came to admire his determination, intelligence, and work ethic. Despite the long hours and the steep learning curve, Daniel never lost sight of the gratitude he felt for the opportunity that had been given to him. Every day was a new challenge, but it was a challenge he was willing to face. His mind, once constrained by the limits of his former life, was now free to explore new ideas, new concepts, and new possibilities. Elon continued to check in on him, offering advice, encouragement, and insight. One day, after a particularly difficult project meeting, Daniel was feeling down. It felt as though the project wasn't progressing as quickly as he had hoped. Elon, sensing that something was off, approached him during lunch. "How's it going?" Elon asked, his tone warm and understanding. "It's been tough," Daniel replied. "I know this project is important, but I'm not sure I'm making as much of an impact as I should be. There's so much I still need to learn." Elon smiled. "That's part of the journey. Don't be too hard on yourself. Everyone starts somewhere. The key is to keep pushing forward and learn from every experience. You've already come so far from where you were just a few months ago. Look at how much you've accomplished. But remember, it's not about the speed. It's about progress. Keep your head up and keep working hard. You're making a difference, even when it feels like you're not." Daniel felt a surge of gratitude. He had always worked hard, but having someone like Elon believe in him made all the difference. He was beginning to understand that his value wasn't just in his skills or knowledge. It was in his resilience, his willingness to learn, and his determination to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the path ahead seemed. The project, once a distant dream, began to take shape. Daniel's input, though small at first, started to have a noticeable impact. He suggested a few new ideas that improved the efficiency of the design, and his team quickly adopted them. With each step, he felt a growing sense of pride in what they were creating together. As the months went by, Daniel became an integral part of the team. The once overlooked laborer was now contributing to one of the most important projects in the world, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at how far he had come. What started as an act of kindness from a stranger, a simple gesture from Elon Musk, had completely changed his life, and in doing so, had given him a new purpose. One day, as Daniel sat at his desk working on a new prototype, Elon walked into the office with a smile on his face. "Hey, Daniel, got a minute?" Elon asked. "Of course," Daniel replied, putting down his work. Elon took a seat across from him. "I just wanted to check in. How's everything going? I'm hearing great things from the team about your progress." Daniel couldn't hide his smile. "It's going well, sir. I've learned so much, and I'm starting to feel like I really belong here." "I'm glad to hear that," Elon said. "I'm proud of the work you're doing, Daniel, and I've been thinking about something." "What's that?" "Well, I've been so impressed with your growth, your ideas, and your passion for the project. I think it's time for you to step into a leadership role. How would you like to lead one of the sub-teams on this project?" Daniel's jaw dropped. "You want me to lead a team?" "Yes," Elon said. "You've proven yourself, Daniel. You've shown that you're more than capable of taking on a leadership role. I believe in you, and I think it's time for you to take the next step." Daniel couldn't believe it. Just a year ago, he had been struggling to make ends meet, working long hours in a job that left him physically exhausted. And now, here he was, being offered a chance to lead a team on a groundbreaking project. "I don't know what to say," Daniel replied, overwhelmed. This is incredible." "You earned it," Elon said with a reassuring smile. "This is just the beginning. Now go and show them what you can do." With a newfound sense of purpose, Daniel stepped into his new role. Leading his team wasn't easy, but he was determined to succeed. He had learned so much from the experience, and he was ready to pay it forward by helping his team members succeed as well. The once overlooked laborer had now become a leader, shaping the future of technology alongside some of the brightest minds in the world. As the months turned into years, Daniel continued to thrive in his role. The project they were working on, a sustainable energy solution, was becoming a reality, and Daniel was at the forefront of it. His life had been transformed, not just by the opportunity Elon Musk had given him, but by the belief that someone had placed in him when he needed it most. Daniel never forgot where he came from. He continued to support his community, helping others who were in the same position he had once been in. He knew what it was like to feel hopeless, to struggle to make ends meet. And he knew that with the right support, anything was possible. Years later, Daniel stood on stage at a global conference, presenting the sustainable energy solution his team had developed. The project was a huge success, and it was already beginning to change the way people lived and worked. As Daniel spoke about the impact of the project, he couldn't help but think back to that day when Elon Musk had first come into his life. Without that moment of kindness, without that belief in him when he had none for himself, he never would have reached this point. And as he looked out at the audience, he realized that the true power of Elon Musk's support wasn't just in the opportunities it created for him. It was in the ripple effect it had on others. The help he had received had allowed him to help others, and together they were all creating a better world. Daniel smiled as he finished his speech. He had come a long way from the dusty streets of his small town, and now he was part of something much bigger than himself. The journey had been long, but it had been worth every step. And he owed it all to the belief that one person, one act of kindness, could change everything. As the crowd applauded, Daniel looked up at the sky. It was a reminder that no dream was too big, no journey too long. With hard work, determination, and the support of those who believed in him, anything was possible. And Daniel, once just a laborer, now stood as a symbol of the extraordinary power of opportunity, kindness, and hope. Daniel's heart swelled with pride as the applause echoed around him. The recognition he had received was more than just an acknowledgement of his work. It was the culmination of years of struggle, sacrifice, and a relentless belief in his potential. As the applause died down, he looked out into the crowd, his mind racing with the thoughts of how far he had come and how much further he could go. After the conference, Daniel found himself reflecting on the people who had helped him along the way. His mother, who had worked tirelessly to support him growing up, had always told him that hard work would pay off in the end. His mentor, who had guided him during his early days in the company, had shown him the value of humility and persistence. And of course, there was Elon Musk, whose faith in him had changed the course of his life forever. Daniel had been fortunate, but he knew that there were many others out there who still needed the kind of opportunity he had been given. His journey had shown him that no matter where someone came from, They had the potential to achieve great things if given the right support and encouragement. He made a promise to himself that he would continue to help others, just as Elon had helped him. He would pay it forward, creating opportunities for those who were just like him, a laborer with a dream. As Daniel left the conference stage and made his way back to the office, he received a message from Elon. It was simple, but it meant the world to Daniel. Proud of you, Daniel. Keep making the world a better place. Those words, so simple yet so powerful, reminded Daniel that the journey was never truly about reaching a destination. It was about the people along the way and the impact they could have on each other. Elon's message was a reminder that he too had the power to create change in the world, just as others had done for him. As he looked ahead, Daniel felt a sense of excitement for the future. The sustainable energy project that had started as an idea was now being adopted by communities around the world, making a significant impact on reducing carbon footprints and providing cleaner energy to underserved areas. Daniel was proud of what they had accomplished, but he knew there was still so much work to be done. The world was full of challenges, and he was determined to be part of the solution. In the years that followed, Daniel continued to rise through the ranks, becoming a leader not just in his company, but in his community. He used his position to mentor young people who were struggling to find their place in the world, offering them the same guidance and support that had been given to him. He founded a non-profit organization aimed at providing educational opportunities and job training to disadvantaged communities. His success was no longer just measured by the projects he led, or the recognition he received. It was measured by the lives he touched and the impact he had on others. Daniel's story became an inspiration to many. He was featured in magazines, spoken about in interviews, and even invited to speak at schools and universities around the world. But despite all the attention, Daniel remained grounded. He never forgot where he had come from or the people who had helped him along the way. He knew that his success was not solely his own. It was the result of the support, the belief, and the opportunities given to him by those who saw his potential. And through it all, Daniel continued to stay in touch with Elon, who remained a constant source of encouragement and guidance. The two would often meet for coffee, discussing everything from technology and innovation to social change and the importance of giving back. Elon had taught him not just about business, but about the importance of kindness, empathy, and the power of one person to make a difference in the world. Daniel's success story was proof that with the right support, anyone, no matter their background or circumstances, could achieve greatness. He had come from humble beginnings, but with hard work, determination, and the belief of someone who saw his potential, he had built a life beyond his wildest dreams. And now, as a leader, mentor, and changemaker, Daniel was committed to ensuring that others had the same opportunity to succeed. Looking back on his journey, Daniel could hardly believe how far he had come. He had gone from being a laborer to leading one of the most innovative projects in the world, all because someone had believed in him when he needed it most. Elon's help had given him the chance to prove himself, but it was his own resilience, his own drive, and his own desire to make a difference that had carried him to where he was today. As he reflected on his achievements, Daniel smiled, knowing that his journey was far from over. There were still challenges to face, problems to solve, and lives to touch. But with the lessons he had learned and the support he had received, he knew that no dream was too big and no obstacle too great. And so, as the years passed, Daniel continued to push the boundaries of what was possible, always remembering the lesson that had changed his life, that with the right support, anything was possible. In the end, Daniel realized that his true success wasn't in the projects he led or the recognition he received. It was in the impact he had on the lives of others, helping them rise, just as he had risen. He had become part of a chain of change, one that would continue to grow and spread, transforming lives, communities, and the world. The kindness and belief that had been shown to him had created a ripple effect, and he was determined to keep that ripple going for as long as he could. And so, Daniel's story, a story of resilience, kindness, and opportunity, wasn't just his own. It was a story shared by many, a reminder that no matter where we come from, we all have the potential to achieve greatness. With the right support, guidance, and belief, we can rise above our circumstances and make a difference in the world. And like Daniel, we can turn our dreams into reality. Daniel's journey wasn't just about the success he had achieved for himself. It was about the impact he was making on the lives of others and the movement of change he had sparked in his community. He had learned that real power wasn't in wealth or recognition, but in the ability to inspire and uplift others. His non-profit organization, which focused on providing job training, educational resources, and mentorship to those in need, became a beacon of hope for countless individuals who had faced the same struggles Daniel had once known. He knew how difficult it was to rise out of poverty, and he wanted to be the lifeline for others who were fighting similar battles. The organization provided scholarships, job placement programs, and personal mentorship, offering people the chance to change their lives the way Daniel had been given a chance. In addition to his non-profit, Daniel used his platform to advocate for changes in public policy that would help lift people out of poverty and ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, had an opportunity to succeed. He worked with legislators to push for better education systems, more affordable health care, and increased access to job opportunities in underserved communities. He spoke at conferences, wrote articles, and participated in discussions about economic equality, often using his own life as a testament to the power of opportunity. Elon remained an important figure in Daniel's life. The mentorship and friendship they had built over the years were invaluable, and Elon continued to offer advice and encouragement. He admired Daniel's work, his drive, and his determination to make the world a better place, not just for himself, but for everyone. The two often collaborated on projects that merged technology with social good, from creating clean energy solutions for low-income neighborhoods to developing educational platforms for underserved youth. Their work together didn't just focus on business and innovation. It was about creating real change, the kind of change that could break the cycle of poverty and transform communities for the better. Elon supported Daniel in his mission, not just with resources but with his influence, helping to amplify the message that opportunity was a fundamental right, not a privilege for the few. As Daniel's influence grew, so did his sense of responsibility. He knew that his success wasn't just for his own enjoyment. It was to be used as a tool for greater good. He had experienced firsthand what it was like to be underestimated and overlooked, and now he was determined to help those who were still stuck in that situation. He understood that not everyone had access to the kind of help he had received, and he was determined to bridge that gap. Daniel's work was not without its challenges. The fight for systemic change was difficult, and progress was often slow. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and obstacles that seemed insurmountable. But Daniel had learned that perseverance was key. When he faced difficulties, he would think back to the days when he was working as a laborer, when his dreams seemed so far out of reach. If he had come this far, he knew there was nothing he couldn't overcome. He drew strength from the people he helped and the stories of resilience that inspired him. Every time he saw someone succeed, when a scholarship recipient graduated or a job training program graduate secured their first job, Daniel felt a renewed sense of purpose. Those moments reminded him why he had started this journey in the first place. To show others that with the right support, they too could rise above their circumstances. One of the most rewarding aspects of Daniel's work was the personal stories of transformation. People would often come up to him after speaking events or during mentorship sessions to share their experiences. Stories of how his organization had helped them find their way, how his example had inspired them to believe in themselves. Daniel would listen to these stories with humility, knowing that the real success wasn't his alone. The success was in the lives that were changed, the futures that had been altered, and the people who now had the tools they needed to create a better life for themselves and their families. And as his impact grew, so did the ripple effect. More organizations and individuals began to follow his example, launching similar initiatives in different parts of the world. The movement Daniel had started began to gain momentum, and it wasn't just about providing resources. It was about changing the narrative. It was about telling people that their dreams mattered, that their lives had value, and that with the right tools, they could achieve anything. Daniel's story, once a tale of struggle, had now become a tale of triumph. A story not just of one man's success, but of an entire community rising together, lifting each other up and working toward a better future. As he looked out over the crowd of young faces at one of his mentorship programs, he felt a sense of pride and gratitude that was hard to put into words. These were the faces of the future, and he was doing everything he could to ensure they had the resources, the knowledge, and the opportunity to succeed. He had always believed that success wasn't just about financial wealth or professional accolades. True success, he realized, was in making a meaningful impact on the lives of others, in changing the world for the better, and in leaving behind a legacy of kindness, empowerment, and opportunity. With each new project, each new initiative, Daniel was reminded of the lessons he had learned throughout his journey, that anyone, no matter their background or circumstances, had the potential to achieve greatness. It wasn't about where you started. It was about where you were determined to go. And as he moved forward, Daniel carried with him the lessons of his past, the support of those who believed in him, and the unwavering belief that change was possible. He knew the road ahead would be long, but he also knew that with hard work, persistence, and a heart full of hope, he could continue to make a difference, not just for himself, but for everyone whose life he touched. The story of Daniel was a reminder that no dream was too big, no obstacle too great, and with the right support, anyone could rise above their circumstances and create a better future. Daniel had done it, and he would continue to do it, one life at a time.